Well, what's up, Caniacs? My name is Christian Self. I am back with you from the Canes Crew podcast. And yes, I'm once again alone. The rest of the Canes crew could not join me tonight. They are both busy, both Andy and Nick. So it's just myself to recap a 4-3 Carolina Hurricanes victory over the New Jersey Devils in what was a bit of a weird one, a bit of a sloppy victory. At the end of the day, 2 points is 2 points. We'll take it because, looking back at this one, when we're into February and March, this is going to look like an 8-0 blowout. But in reality, we were lucky. The Hurricanes were lucky to escape with 2 points on this one. Did they deserve the victory? I would argue that they did. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I also would argue that the Flyers did deserve to get at least a point out of this one. But yeah, the Hurricanes were lucky to get the 2 points. They were sloppy at times. There were some players that were not up to par, and actually, Rob Brindamore talked about that during the intermission interview that he was given by Hannah Yates. So yeah, let's just dig into it. First period, bit of an up and down one from the Hurricanes. The line that was maybe perhaps most disappointing, the line that I was looking forward to the most in terms of what they could do against the Flyers was the Aho line. And to be honest, they let me down a little bit. I thought Ehlers was very good again. I thought he was looking very skilled, perhaps the most skilled with the puck of all the Hurricanes. But again, Aho, his play was a bit up and down. And, it's just one of those things. He didn't play a whole lot in the preseason. And he's it's looking like he's going to need some time to get back in the swing of things because his play has been a bit of a letdown. Now, he had 2 assists in the first game, and he had the game-winning primary assist in tonight's game. So he is coming up clutch when you need him. So it's I'm critical of him, and that's just to show you how good Aho is. He's having off nights, and he still has 3 points in 2 games, and the clutch assist to give us the go-ahead winner. But yeah, his overall play was, I think he would be the first to tell you, was not what we're hoping for. And in fact, at the beginning of the first period, he had a really sloppy giveaway turnover. And if it wasn't for a great back check by Seth Jarvis, that was going to be an easy goal for the Flyers to give them the early lead. Blake, I thought, looked very good in this game. Stankoven was a bit, back and forth as well. Nikishin, I thought, was impressive early on. He faded towards the end of the game, but early on, I thought he was very good with the puck. Chatfield, again, maybe up and down. The best shift of the game early on was the Stahl line, and I thought they were easily the most consistent line. They got paid off again for another great goal by them, and they're so good at keeping the puck in the offensive zone. The unfortunate thing with that line is that they're great at cycling, keeping it and deep in the offensive zone. They don't always get rewarded because offensively they're just not very skilled. Let's just be honest. They are great at keeping the puck. They did get rewarded this time. A little bit later on, but early on, though, the story of the first period was the Carolina Hurricanes had 3 power plays, did not do anything with any of those 3 power plays, really. Did not have a whole lot of chances, did not have a whole lot of grade A chances. They could not score on any of those 3 power plays. And to be honest, the second power play unit, even though they got the nod early on because that Stankoven line was certainly better than the Aho line early on, they were not very good, the second power play unit. And unfortunately, all 3 power plays fall short. And the first power play given to the Flyers was connected on. It was a Chatfield trip after he bobbled the puck. And it was a late goal scored by their power play unit where it was honestly a very lucky goal because it was I can't remember if it deflected, but either way, it was a slap shot that went off the stanchion behind the net, and it bounced like right back over the goal, right in front of the goal, right to Tippett's stick for an easy shot past Anderson. There was nothing Anderson could do on that goal, and honestly, for giving up 3 goals, I thought Anderson had a very good night. He had some really clutch saves. He had some really good rebound control throughout this game. I actually gave him my 3rd star of the night. I thought he was a very good player for the Hurricanes. I wouldn't really put any of those 3 goals on him per se, but especially that first goal by the Flyers, that was such a lucky goal. And it was just such a typical first period by the Canes. You've got 16-6 in terms of shots on goals. So far and away out shooting, out chancing, way more time in the offensive zone by the Carolina Hurricanes. But there were not a lot of grade A chances, a lot of easy shots on goal. And all that really does, unfortunately, is just allow the opposing goalie to get into the game and just get hotter and hotter. We've seen that. We've seen us build Bobrovsky into a world beater because we're just feeding him easy shots. And I've played goal before, not in the NHL, obviously, but I know what it's like to get a whole bunch of easy saves. It just builds your confidence, and then all of a sudden you're just unstoppable. That is one thing that we were good at, is turning subpar goalies into world beaters because we just feed them a lot of easy shots because that's just our MO. I'm not saying that Bobrovsky is just a mediocre goalie. Like, he is a world beater by himself, but we do him a lot of we don't do ourselves a lot of favors. Let's just say that. So anyway, 16-6 shots on goal after the first, but the Flyers have the 1-0 lead early. And again, very, very lucky goal by them. So let's hope the luck turns around, and it does in the second period. There was a great pass up ahead from Nikishin to start the play on their first goal. Stankoven gets it back to Blake, who makes an excellent toe drag move past the defender. He gets the shot kind of on goal. It actually deflects and bounces back into the slot to Stankoven, who buries it into a wide open net. So, great. Again, that line, that second line, has looked, I thought, very good early on in the season. Stankoven, I think, still needs to get better on, and which is to be expected. He has to improve as a center. This is still new to him, but he is certainly not failing. His offense and his ability to distribute the puck is enough, I think, to keep Brind'Amour moving on with this line, especially in this early road trip. And I thought Jackson Blake was the best player on that line. And even though he didn't get the goal, I thought that goal really was all because of Jackson Blake's incredible play with the puck there. So great toe drag and a great goal. The Philadelphia Flyers, though, would take the lead back. The fourth line, the Kotkaniemi line, was on the ice, and Nikishin can't clear the puck, which, honestly wasn't too much his fault. He just threw it up the ice, could not clear. And the puck would eventually find its way onto KK's tape, and he could not get the puck out of the offensive zone. Not a very strong play by KK, and I thought not a very good game from KK overall. I thought for the most part he was invisible, and when he was noticeable, it was not because of something good he was doing. Even though that line did get a goal in this game, it was not because of KK. It was because of the wingers on either side of him. So I know, look, I get it. There's a lot of KK hype men, hype women, hype people in the Canes fan base, a lot of KK lovers. Look, I love KK as a person. I think he's an excellent teammate. I wish him the best. I want him to be our second center. Like, that would solve everything. He's huge. He's if physically he's the prototype center. Unfortunately, he's just not that great of a player. He is just good enough to be a third or fourth line center in this league. On a decent team, on a team like the Carolina Hurricanes, where you're expecting to compete for a Stanley Cup. I don't even know if he's worth starting, to be quite honest with you. And I want him to prove me wrong. I really do. But not a great game by KK. So yeah. The puck will eventually find its way to Bobby Brink, who has some space, and he rips a shot over Freddie's shoulder. That's the one goal where I wonder if maybe Freddie could have stopped that. Could he have been a little bit more aggressive, come out a little bit quicker? It was a great shot, so I'm not going to put it too much on Freddie, but overall, Canes are down 2-1 early in the second period. But even if you put that goal on Freddie, I thought he was great up to that point. He was making a lot of great saves. Again, his rebound control was very, very good. But the Canes would answer when Robinson on the fourth line gets a break. He gets a breakaway on a turnover and shows his excellent speed. It's not quite a breakaway. There was a defender, but he really pushed that defender deep because of his excellent speed in the offensive zone. And he eventually finds a hustling Taylor Hall who beats his man with a nice tap in from across, a great pass from Robinson across the slot. Taylor Hall taps the puck in, and the Canes tie it. And that's really where I think the Canes are going to have a good advantage throughout the season, is that despite KK's up and down play, that's still an incredible, like talent-wise, that's an incredibly talented fourth line. They're going to be much more talented than most of the opposing fourth liners that they're going to go up against in the season this year. So Taylor Hall has looked very, very good for the Hurricanes to start this season off. And can you expect anything less from former MVP, veteran player who knows his role, who's going to do the best that he can and take advantage of all of the minutes that he's getting? I wish he could share some of that juju with KK, because I want KK to take advantage of all the minutes, that the very little minutes that he's getting. But yeah, so that was a great goal by the fourth line from Robinson and eventually Hall with the goal there. And then to follow up on that, a huge goal, a go-ahead goal by the Stahl line. And again, they're so good at keeping the puck in the offensive zone. And Martinook is incredibly good with his play behind the net, being able to find a man out in the slot in front of the nets. And he does it again with a backhanded pass, finding a Stahl, driving the net with a nice shot past Urson. And puts the Canes up 3-2. And I thought, again, they're the most consistent line. And that's why Brind'Amour loves that line so much, because are they going to be world beaters all the time? No. Are they going to score goals all the time? Absolutely not. But do you know what you're going to get from them game in, game out? Absolutely. And that's why Brind'Amour loves that line. And I don't blame him, because they were incredibly solid in this game. They were super consistent. And at the end of that second period, I even wrote it in my notes, the Aho line needs to step up in the third. And I don't think that they did that. I actually don't think that the Canes did that as a whole in the third. I thought Philadelphia showed some desperation in the third period. And if it wasn't for some luck in overtime, the Aho line would not have had a chance to step up in this game. So what happened? Well, I thought for the most part, the Hurricanes still carried the play in the third period, but they just couldn't get one across on Ersson. They had a lot of shots on goal. They had some chances, not a lot of grade A chances. It wasn't like Ersson was standing on his head. It's just we weren't doing a whole lot with the puck. And I give Philadelphia some credit. I thought they did a very good job defensively in their own zone, especially in the third period, clogging up passing lanes and defending the puck carrier and counterattacking actually very well. I thought we'll talk a little bit more about it when I give my 3 stars, but I thought Gostisbehere was great. And especially in the third period, defensively, he was great. He's great. He was great with the puck all game, but he was so good in his own zone. Gostisbehere was I'll just go ahead and give a little giveaway. He was the best player for either team tonight. Gostisbehere was great. Nikishin, I thought, again, looked pretty solid throughout the game. He maybe had some moments in his own zone, but I thought overall with the puck, offensively, he is very gifted, and he created a lot of opportunities for the Hurricanes offensively just from some very smart plays, and he's willing to drive the net as well. So very excited for what Nikishin is going to bring dynamically to this team. He is a huge upgrade over Orlov, even though it's maybe it's apples and oranges, because Nikishin is a lefty and left on the plays on the left side, and Orlov is a right shot D. But yeah, I just another encouraging game by Nikishin. Again, another great game by Miller. I thought he was very solid throughout. Obviously, he didn't get the results and maybe didn't quite get the chances that he had in the first game. But I thought in both ends of the ice, I thought that Miller had a great game. But it was the Flyers that would eventually tie this one 3-3 with a great shift by the Bobby Brink line. And I thought Bobby Brink was probably the Philadelphia Flyers' best player tonight. He looked very, very good. And he eventually finds Travis Sanheim with a great pass and a great shot from the point. And I thought the Philadelphia Flyers just showed a lot of desperation. And again, that was against the Aho line. The Aho line was just struggling to keep up with the Flyers in that end. And if it wasn't for Ehlers, I thought that Aho line was a really bit of a disappointment. Even Jarvis, I thought Jarvis throughout, the regulation time was okay, like not super noticeable. He had some good moments. He had that great back check. He's always going to be solid defensively, but not a lot of great moments by that Aho line. Let's hope that they can get it going here on this road trip. So eventually the game goes to overtime, and there was a bit back and forth at first, but the Flyers get the goal, and we're thinking, that sucks, because it really felt like the Canes should have won that game. Certainly outchanced, certainly outshot the Flyers. Certainly were the more talented team. But that's not going to get it done. The Canes are going to have to learn that. Just being more talented is not going to get the game, not going to get the win. The Flyers showed more desperation, and that's what mattered in the third period and early on in overtime. But Freddie got knocked down. And here's the thing. And actually, Canes Twitter even posted this. They said, we still don't know what goaltender interference is. And I thought that was funny because it actually went in their favor. We're not used to that, by the way. If there's any Flyers fans watching this reaction, us winning a goaltender interference review is an anomaly. It's something that we're not used to. We normally lose those because we, as Canes fans, don't know what goaltender interference is. And I think most NHL fans probably feel the same way because from one game to the next, it can look very, very different. You just barely tap the goalie and it gets called, or you can run into him and it doesn't get called. I don't know. Certainly, I don't remember who it was, but the Philadelphia Flyers player absolutely made contact with Freddie. And certainly there was nobody pushing him in there. But I think you could make an argument that Freddie initiated contact first. He kind of extended his arm a little bit, and I mean, this isn't a soccer game, but I think he flopped a little bit. I think he maybe exaggerated what that now, the contact absolutely probably would have taken him out of the play regardless. But the goal, I think, even if he didn't have contact made with him, I don't think Freddie was making that save. I think that goal was going in either way. But the fact is, the Flyers player ran into him. There was contact. There was no opportunity for Freddie to even try and get back to make the save. I don't think he was going to be able to anyway. But at the end of the day, it was not a Canes challenge. It was the league initiated review and overtime, and Toronto, the league office in Toronto, decided to say, "Hey, that's goaltender interference. Play on," and so we did. And it looks like the Hurricanes realized that they were gifted an opportunity to make amends. And they did. And certainly Aho and Jarvis realized, like, hey, we've not been that great tonight. We just had a loss pulled off the scoreboard. We better get our butts out there and make amends. And they absolutely did. Incredible passing by Gostisbehere, Aho, and Jarvis in overtime. And what a shot by Jarvis. Another super clutch goal. He had the go-ahead winner the last game won game 1 against the New Jersey Devils. And again, the game winner tonight. 3 goals now in 2 games by Seth Jarvis. And again, it's looking like he's going to be our new superstar. I say new. You could argue we've never really had a superstar. We were hoping that maybe Aho could be it. He is as close as we've gotten. He's a star. Is he a superstar? Probably not. I don't know if most teams most fans would put him in the NHL top 10 or top 20 of players. We as Canes fans absolutely know how good he is, but he's at best a point per game player, and that's not necessarily the criteria for being a superstar. But Seth Jarvis, he has the charisma, he has the personality. We as Canes fans know that absolutely, and now the NHL is taking notice as well with his appearance on the Amazon Prime show. But beyond that, he has incredible skill, and he's getting better and better, folks. He was incredible on that goal, but just with the puck, he's just a level above most of the players on the ice. And that slap shot that he ripped was crossbar and down. What a snipe! What an absolute slapper from Seth Jarvis. Again, I'm going to say it, the Canes' new superstar. I think this year is going to be Seth Jarvis's coming out party. 40 plus goals. I mean, he's got 3 goals already in 2 games, but I think even before the season, I was thinking he was going to have a 40 plus goal season, and he is certainly on his way to do that. So we'll see. He's got to stay healthy. He's been dealing with a shoulder issue for the last couple of seasons, so let's hope he can stay healthy. But I'm going to try my best to. I've got that goal, the video of it. So again, I'm kind of running things on my own here. Let's see how well I can do this. So again, tail of the tape here. Shots on goal, 39 shots to the Flyers, 23. Face-off circle was also good for the Hurricanes, 55.1%. Power play, not so great for the Hurricanes. They had 3 in the first. All 3 did not look very good. Their fourth power play, I will say, looked a lot better and probably should have scored, but could not put it away. The Flyers completed 1 of their 3 power plays. Again, that first goal was their power play goal, and it was such a fluky, it's just off the stanchion, but like bounced right back to Bobby. Was it Bobby Brink? I can't remember who it was. Who scored that goal? Oh, Tippett. It was Tippett. Yeah, bounced right to Tippett's stick. So yeah, super lucky goal for the Flyers. And again, this is why, if you look at these stats here, the Hurricanes, I think you could argue, deserve to win this game. It's not like the Flyers are the better team. They were not. The Hurricanes were the better team. You could see that throughout the game. That first goal by the Flyers was super fluky. They did not deserve to be up 1-0 at the end of that first period. The Hurricanes were by far the better team. But that being said, the Hurricanes power play sucked. And when your special teams suck and the other team converts on the few chances that they get, that's what's going to happen. And that's kind of been the story for the Hurricanes as a team over the last few years. So many chances, so many shots, you can't convert on them. Their shooting percentage is not that great. You don't have a lot of finishers on the team. And the power play, we've seen this especially in the playoffs, the power play starts to look paltry. Yeah, I mean, look, it's early on. I'm hoping that the power play can mesh better. They looked much better on the fourth power play opportunity, but they're going to have to work on that. And but yeah, so again, I think just looking at these stats overall, I would argue that the Hurricanes did deserve to win that game. Looking at the stat cards here, Shane Gostisbehere way up there at the top, and he got my first star of the game. Even before I saw this, I think it was easy to tell that Shane Gostisbehere was the best player on the ice for either team. He was incredible in this game. He had a great game in the first game as well. I probably underappreciated how good he was in the first game, but I did not underappreciate him tonight. The whole night I was noticing Shane Gostisbehere. He was just so good with the puck, made great plays in his own end, made great plays offensively. He ends up getting an assist on the game winner as well. Just such a good player. The fact that we signed him for so cheap and that he's our top power play quarterback is incredible. So great game by him. As you can see there, the player on the bottom is Jesperi Kotkaniemi. That is all I will say because I don't want to get flamed too hard by all the KK lovers out there. Nikishin is kind of what you would expect by a rookie defenseman who's super talented but does not know the language. He was very, very good, and he was very, very bad. Mostly very good offensively, mostly very bad defensively. But yeah, this the one maybe the one score I'm a little bit surprised by is Ehlers because I thought Ehlers stood out to me a lot, especially early on in the game. But overall, that line was kind of not so great, and that's not that surprising that him and Aho and Jarvis are kind of middle of the pack there. Of course, you got the Stahl line, and you have Jackson Blake up there. Logan Stankoven looks like stats, or according to these metrics, had a good game. So my 3 stars, not based off of just these stats here, but just eye test as well. Third star I gave to Freddie Anderson because I thought Anderson had some very good saves in this game. I wouldn't really put any of the goals on him. Maybe you could argue the second goal over his shoulder. He should have been a little bit more aggressive cutting down that angle, but I that was a great shot, and he made some really, really clutch saves. So I gave him my third star. Second star I gave to Jordan Stahl. Really, what I wanted to do was give it to the Jordan Stahl line because it wasn't like one player on that line stood out. All three, Stahl, Carrier, Martinuk, they were all three so good. So if I could kind of like bundle them up, they would have my number 2 star easily. If I had to single one out, I guess Stahl, maybe Martinuk, but since Stahl got the goal, we'll give it to him. But I just want to give a shout out to Jackson Blake because, again, individually, he also was incredibly good in this game. So if I'm just looking at individuals, I would say Gostisbehere, Blake, and Anderson were my 3 stars. But that would not tell a good tale of this game because that Stahl line was so good. All 3 of them, they were the best line overall, most consistent line. And that's those are the kind of performances that you need to win game in, game out. And they're, again, Britomar knows exactly what you're going to get with that line. And so, yeah, let's look and see this absolute incredible game winner by Jarvis. Aho moving around the back of the net. Gostisbehere with a great pass out to Aho, who gives it to Jarvis. And just what a rip. What a rip by Jarvis. Bar and in. Again, pass from Gostisbehere to Aho over to Jarvis, who just rips it. Absolute slapper. Bar and in. Great shot there from behind. Woo! Woo! What a shot. What an absolute howitzer from Seth Jarvis. Yeah, and again, like I said, Seth Jarvis, perhaps our new superstar. Because what a clutch goal. And it looks like Aho and Jarvis kind of that disallowed goalie interference goal against us said, hey, we could have just lost this. Let's get our heads in the game and let's win this thing. And they did. The talent shined through. They realized that, hey, we're way better than anybody that Philadelphia has on the ice, and they are. I'm sorry, Philly fans, but they are. They're just better, and they showed it there in the overtime. But that being said, I thought the Flyers played a very good road game. They took advantage of their opportunities. They didn't make a whole lot of mistakes. I thought they were great defensively, great at clogging up the neutral zone and the passing lanes, their defensive zone. They deserved a point tonight. They really did. They gave the Hurricanes a scare. They could have won this game if it wasn't for that goalie interference. They could have stole one. Fortunately for us as Canes, they did not steal one. And the Hurricanes are now 2-0 on the season. We've got 4 points through two games. And I'm super happy about that. Again, looking back on this, we're not gonna remember how ugly this win was. We're just gonna see the 2 points in the standings, and we're gonna take it and run with it. So that's what I will say about this one. Hurricanes fans, be excited. This is a good team. This is a team that's going to win a lot of games this year. This is going to be a team that's going to be very hard to play in the Lenovo Center in Raleigh. But that being said, they're getting ready to start a long road trip, our annual State Fair road trip at the beginning of the season. We had 2 nice games at home. We took care of business at home, which is what you want to do before you go on the road. And we've got several games on the road tonight. Several games on the road to start the season off with that State Fair coming into Raleigh. The one nice thing about having that annual long West Coast road trip is that it gives the new guys and just all the guys in general a chance to bond, to have team dinners, to hang out because they're just going to be on the road together to do kind of like excursion trips. So it's going to be a big test, as it always is. Back in the day, it was very difficult. Those early road trips for the Hurricanes were very difficult. Then it got better because those West Coast teams kind of stunk up the joint. LA, Anaheim, kind of all at the same time. They became bad, but they're better now. And so now we've got San Jose, our next game on Tuesday night. That's a 10 o'clock Eastern start. San Jose, that should be the easiest of all the matchups if you're just looking talent-wise. But it's going to go that road trip, San Jose, Anaheim, Los Angeles Kings, Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado, and Dallas. Those last 4 especially just kind of turns into a murderer's row of playoff teams and Stanley Cup contenders. You've got the Kings, who are a playoff team. You've got Vegas, who is a Stanley Cup contender. You've got Colorado, who is a Stanley Cup contender and looking very good early on. And then certainly we know Dallas, Stanley Cup contender. The Mikko Rantanen revenge game. We'll see with Stankoven. Actually, it'll be his first game. I think it might be his first game against his former team. I don't think he played against the Stars after he got traded to the Canes. So we'll see how that road trip goes. Not going to be an easy one for the Canes. Again, going to be an opportunity for the Hurricanes to show what kind of team this is. I think they're going to be a great team. I think looking at that road trip, if you can just, if you can just get, let's say more than 6 points out of a possible 12, I would be happy. That's a tough road trip against some really good teams. If you can get maybe 8 points out of that, I think you're very pleased with that. I'd say anything more than 6, you're pleased. 6 you will take, but you won't be super happy about it. Anything less than 6 for a team this good, you're going to be a little disappointed. The easiest 2 teams is obviously going to be San Jose early on, and then Anaheim right after that. So next game, San Jose on a Tuesday night. Hopefully we'll have a recap for you that night, even though it's going to be a late one. So I'm not quite sure. It's going to be very late for us. So maybe we'll see. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But yeah, Canes win 4-3 overtime. What a play by Jarvis. And last thing I will show you, because it came across the Twitter feed. Let's see here. We have the Chicago Wolves winning their first game of the season, getting 4 in a row after starting the first goal. You had Dominic Fensori, Bradley Nadeau, Justin Robida, and Ryan Suzuki all getting points, with Amir Miftakov stopping 22 out of 23, even though Amir Miftakov looked not very good in the preseason for the Hurricanes. But hey, he's had a good start to his season with the Wolves winning 4-1. Always looking to see how the Canes prospects are doing down on the farm in Chicago. So yeah, that's great. Canes win. That's great. Some great performers. Oh, actually, last thing I want to add, Slavin, Jacob Slavin. Yeah, it looks like he did not play in the overtime, which he starts every overtime. He's usually out there with Stahl and I don't know, whoever else is out there usually. And he did not play. He did not play late in the third period. Rob Brind'Amour said he's being evaluated. That is the last that I have heard. We may not know much more until maybe tomorrow, the next day or two. We will see. It could be nothing. It could be serious. Losing, obviously, we all know as Canes fans, losing Jacob Slavin would be awful, detrimental, especially going into this road trip. If that does happen, Mike Riley is going to slide into the starting lineup. I don't know if he's going to slide right into Jacob Slavin's spot on that first pairing between him and Sean Walker. If anything, I could see perhaps, I don't know, maybe Gossesbear moves up to that top pairing. Him, Gossesbear, and Walker kind of turn into the top pairing. You keep Nikishin down. Maybe Mike Riley can play his offside. If not, you move Nikishin up. I don't like. It's going to be very interesting. Like maybe you move, or maybe you break up the Chatfield Miller line. You move Miller up to play with Walker on that top pairing. You play Riley with Chatfield, and then you keep that Gossesbear Nikishin pairing. And I don't know. It's going to be fascinating to see if Slavin is missing time, what Brind'Amour does with those defensive pairings. I don't want to see what he does because I don't want Jacob Slavin to be out, but hopefully it's not too serious. And to be honest with you, I'd rather him be out now than late in the season into the playoffs, because that's when we really need him. Because really, I think this team is good enough to make the playoffs either way, but like it's really going to come down to what we do in the playoffs, and we need Jacob Slavin if we want to have any chance at winning a Stanley Cup. So we shall see. We'll get you up to date on that. We will do our best to recap some of the games in this road trip, even though there's going to be a lot of late starts. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy our recaps, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, give us a shout out, comment in the down below. If you have any questions, let us know what you think is going to happen if Jacob Slavin misses any time. Who you think the defensive pairings are going to be, or what you would do if you were Rod Brind'Amour. Let us know if you have any ideas on how to fix Aho in that top line, or obviously it's a little too early to say fix, but they got to get it together. And any players that maybe stood out to you. So yeah, please comment. We'll be happy to engage with you there. And with that being said, y'all have a great night. Go Canes. Off to a good start. 2-0, 4 points in the standings. Let's see how we do on this road trip. And we'll see you next time.